Hey there, everyone. Welcome to your very first training session as a part of the Mini Creative Convention Online. This is a smaller version, so we only have 2 training sessions for you to be able to focus on. So because of that, I wanted to think really long and hard about the 2 most powerful things that I could share with you that will help impact your celebration as it gets started in January. And I came up with something that I actually have been working on a lot with my training clients. And it's one that I keep getting asked about over and over again. We just got done working with our elite mastermind, so there was like 36 of us working really close together. And this was the one every single week we had to work on and do reminders and hold accountability. And it's one where I see the greatest amount of change in a business. And that is we're going to talk about marketing. Marketing and just basically communicating with your customers about your classes. I say it all the time. It's not the best stamper or the best creator, the most creative, talented person that is the one that's the most successful. It's the one that is getting themselves out there the most. I know a lot of talented stampers that businesses are not where they want them to be, or their sales are not near what somebody else is who has about as much talent in their pinky. But they're marketing better, they're emailing more, they are putting themselves out there so people actually know when they're holding events or when they're doing something. So what I want to talk to you about is a system. It's important as you move forward that you have a system in place so that you just do. You don't have to think, what has to happen today? What should I do today? When's the last time I've emailed on something? Or, oh my gosh, my class is next week and no one even knows about it. I haven't even done any information on it. We want to avoid that in our business. We want to take as much off of our brain as we can so that we can just do. And a lot of that boils down to having a plan and having a system. So I created some tools for you to be able to use because this will eventually become a habit. It'll eventually become something that your brain will naturally do. It might take 6 months or even a year before it becomes a natural part of your daily routine. Marketing is a daily thought process. Now, you might not have to do anything that day, but you need to think about or look to see what needs to be done. Maybe it's tomorrow, so you can work ahead a little bit and create a graphic. Or it might be something where you already have things pre-scheduled. But it's a daily thought process is what kind of marketing do I have to do today? So what I want to talk to you about is the number 3. It's a 3-part system. I have talked on this before, trained on it before, and I talk about it all the time, and it's because it works. So many times training clients come to me and they're upset or they're just frustrated because their sales aren't where they want them to be. The attendance aren't what they want them to be. They offer all these classes, but only 2 people come to this one or 3 to this one. And the first thing I ask them, first I always ask what they're charging because that has a lot to do with it. The second thing I always ask them is, well, how are you marketing? How are you getting your communication? And almost 9 times out of 10, it's like, well, I did an email. I'm like, okay, you did 1 email. I'm like, yep, and that's it. Or I put it on Facebook, and that's it. So if you're only just using Facebook and only putting it out there once or twice, or if you're just using email and you're only sending out 1 email, a month and thinking that that's sufficient, it's not. There is a real power to email marketing and also social media marketing. When you put them both together, you're going to have the magic sauce when it comes to the results of what you're already doing. So all of this I'm going to teach you is not going to even give you that much more of a workload. It's going to take what you're doing and make it more successful, make it more profitable. To having a class, instead of having 5, you could have 15 or 10 because people simply know about it more. Or they're enticed because you keep talking about it, or other people keep talking about it. They're going to want to do it as well. So what I want to share with you is this thing I've created called a marketing checklist. Okay, and it's based on each event. And we're going to talk about the power of 3. I want you to remember 3, think about 3, and know that every event on your calendar requires 3. So we're going to keep it simple so that you can do this and be repetitive and consistent. So you can easily say, oh, I've only done 2, I need 1 more. You can, if you use something like Constant Contact or Eventbrite or MailChimp, you can see exactly how many emails you have sent out. And I know, oh my gosh, I've only done 2, I need 1 more. Now, because this is something that's a system that personally I've been doing for a very long time and that I teach it, it's burnt in my brain. But maybe the social media piece might be dropping for me. Maybe I'm only doing 1 post on social media, and that's not enough. 1 is like the needle in a haystack. I'm just hoping people see it. But instead of having a consistent effort for every single event, you will have results. Number 1, I need you to understand you are not being pushy. You're not being bugging people. You're not being overbearing. You are simply marketing your business. I wonder if Amazon's worried about bugging us when they email us 4 and 5 times a day. I don't think so. I think that they're realizing, hey, people are going to click on one of those emails I sent this week, and that makes all the work worth it. My favorite stores, the ones that I shop from, email me every single day. And I don't think they're being pushy. I don't think they're being overbearing. I realize that they're trying to market to me so that when I'm ready, I'm there to shop. When I'm ready, they're there to click on my link. So let me ask you, if you are an online demonstrator and you get online orders, or if you are just a demonstrator in general, but we know customers are going to shop from all kinds of places, not just Stampin' Up, but maybe Michael's or Hobby Lobby or other stamp companies. That's what happens. Some people are loyal to just Stampin' Up, but most crafters are going to shop wherever. So if they're actually ready to purchase, they're excited about purchasing something, they're going to purchase the one that is in their face, that's in their computer, that's on their screen. That's where they're going to go. So you want to make sure that it's your name, your link, your store that is there. And I promise you right now, if you are only emailing them once a month or once a week, you are not going to be that person. So you need to make sure that you are in their inboxes and in their life on Facebook and in their time on blogging, that you are a part of that and that you're there at their fingertips when they're ready. So this 3-part system truly is bare minimum. You could actually do more if you wanted to, but this 3-part system is bare minimum for each and every event that you do in a month. So that includes your club, that includes a paper pumpkin night, that includes a team meeting, that includes all of your events. So if I do an online something, it's going to get the same attention as if I do a face-to-face event. The power of 3. Okay, you ready? So before we start, we have to have, let's see if I can hold up here, we have to have a monthly calendar. Now this is one where it's just my Stampin' Up. This is not where I put all of my home events and all of that. This is just for me to keep track of my stamping life. I have a main calendar that might have all the other things in there, but this is just when I have events, when I have online events, and exactly what I have. And you see, I do about 2 or 3 a week. It's all spread out. That way I'm not like all heavy in one and then not doing something in another. So visually I know, oh yes, 3, 3, 2, 2. I keep that in a certain line for a reason. Now, but what I can do is that when I'm spread out every week, then I know my marketing needs to be spread out every week. So once I've got my events down here, then I can backtrack my marketing. So every single event then transcends over to our marketing checklist. So I usually have 6 events a month, and I have all 6 written down here. And if you have 9 events a month, you're going to need to print up another sheet. So you have all 9 events. And so until this becomes a habit, you have got to use this tool to fill it in so you know. So I'll get it in here so it's not blinded. So at the top, this is for January. I'm working ahead. This is something you should be filling out the month in advance of something. So if you're following the training, I'm pushing you to get your January calendar ready. I'm pushing you to get it printed. I'm pushing you to get ready for January because in November, you should have done December. And in January, I'm going to push it for February. So we have to always work a little bit and plan ahead so that the month just doesn't come and bowl us over. Instead, you take control of your month. You are in control. If you're always just trying to keep your head above the ground and just barely breathe and keep yourself going, you're never going to be able to plow forward and pave a new pathway. So we want to stay ahead as much as we possibly can. So every event on your calendar needs to have a spot, and I just put on here, this is my team meeting. It's the most important thing I do every month. It's the first thing that goes on my calendar, and it's the first thing in my calendar. It's the first event that I have. It's always the first Tuesday of every month. So, but in January, it's the second, because the first one is, I think, January 1st. So this one is on January 8th. So I put down here 3 emails, the power of 3. Every event needs 3 emails and 3 social media posts. And then I have a blank down here for a video or a Facebook Live. So those of you who do online or do videos or do Facebook Live, or maybe someday you're going to, every event could have a marketing push in one of those places. So I checked off one because I already did 1 email on it. And now I have the date set for my second 2. Now here's the timing. This is for every event. Okay, I'm going to say that again because you might pick and choose and say, well, I'll do it for this one, but not that one. This is for every event. At the start of the month, I will do 1 monthly newsletter, the typical newsletter where this is all that I have going on. These are the dates. This is how much it costs. This is where it's at. You know, here's what's going on in Stampin' Up. It's a lengthy newsletter, but it's for my customers that love to read and want to go through the fine-tooth comb. That's probably about 3 that I have. The other 3,000 are like too much information, done. But again, you can do that. This is if people who want to mark their calendars and plan ahead. They know exactly which dates that they have to set aside for your event. So that's the only time all month long that you can combine events on an email or a social media post. So for that social media post, I would probably just say, here's a link to access my monthly calendar. You can put them right to your DBWS with your DBWS calendar, or you can direct with Constant Contact. I can make that email a link so they can actually click on it and go right to that email and see everything that I'm doing or everything that you are doing that month. So that's the first email. And every one of them, I can go in here on every one of them, which I've done. I have 12/30, 12/30, 12/30. Every one of these is going to get the first email. It's going to be done on December 30th because January 1st people might be too busy. But anyway, that is just when I'm doing it. So then now the second 2 forms of email have got to come just by themselves. I think, again, you're afraid of being pushy. You're afraid of coming out too much to them. I'm going to tell you right now, when you run your business because of the fear of people who don't want to hear from you, instead of the passion and the love of people who do want to hear from you, you're going to have struggles. You will. Make decisions in your business based on the people who are coming to your classes, who want to come, who need to know, who desire to want to stamp with you. Don't make decisions based on people who aren't coming to your events anyway, who aren't ordering from you. And if they want to unsubscribe from my email list, then they are more than welcome to unsubscribe. But you are going to be informing your customers that want to hear from you because they're out there. So the next 2 emails are specifically just for that event. So I will be, okay, here's a reminder. We've got this coming up in 10 days. Here's maybe a sneak peek. I can share one sneak peek. I can give a little bit more information about the class too, like we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that. And so make sure you sign up. It might be for a 1-day retreat, so I can give some more information about the retreat. And if I need to, or if it's done, I might show a little snippet of 1 or 2 of the projects to kind of entice them a little bit. Or I might show a picture of my customers stamping at my studio and having fun. Like, don't you want to be one of these people? So if so, make sure you RSVP. And it's a reminder of when the RSVPs are due. So this email, your second email, comes out about a week to 10 days ahead of the RSVP date. So it's just a middle-of-the-road reminder. Okay, so you have your initial announcement, the middle-of-the-road reminder, and then your third email comes out 24 to 48 hours when the RSVPs are due. This goes for online classes, live classes, bingo events, retreats, card classes, everything. 24 to 48 hours before the registration is due. So not before the event, because you might need to, like some of my classes, might need a whole week to prep. So it might be the week before that I shut off. It's right before the registration is due. I'll do a last chance. Don't miss it. Make sure that you signed up. Without fail, I get at least 50% of my RSVPs on that last day. So it is a very important one to put out there. And I hear that a lot from people who make the change. Instead of just doing one email a week or just one a month, those last minute ones bring in the most people. It's just human nature. It's just who we deal with, where you deal with a lot of people who do things kind of last minute. So then I already have these planned ahead. Can you see? So I already have this class is on January, I can't, that's a kind of a glare. This class is on January 23rd, and I've already mapped out when my first email will go out, my second email, my third email. So now I know the days when I work those days, I have to send out my reminders. So you might have to work ahead to know when you're going to do it. Schedule it. I took the class. I went back 10 days. I went back the 2 days or 3 days beforehand. And even though my class is on the 23rd, my RSVPs might be due on the 20th. So they have to RSVP by that date. This is going to allow you to not let marketing slip through the cracks if you're looking at this every day. Now, the second part of every event is your social media. So your social media is blogging. It's also if you use Instagram or if you use Facebook. So it's how you're blasting it. 3 is the bare minimum. So you might do one initial blog post and then several Facebook reminders about the class afterwards. So again, I have the exact dates that I'm going to be posting on. I use Facebook, predominantly I don't use Instagram. But if you use Instagram, you want to post on both. If you also do blogging, you need to put on there the day you're going to blog about that event as well. So you have the power of 3. You have to make sure that you're doing 3 emails for every event, individual ones, the last 2, and then 3 different blasts, 3 different posts on Facebook. Now I would do them, I spread them out the same. I do it once in the initial, I do it again with, about a week to 2 weeks beforehand, and then I do one at the last minute. And I either do them about the same day as my email, so they get it in the email, and they also see it on Facebook. Now here's the deal. Not everybody is going to see emails, and not everybody is going to see Facebook. A lot of your customers are not even on Facebook, or a lot of your potential customers are not even on Facebook. So you need to make sure you're using several forms of communication. This is just your social media marketing and your computer marketing. There's also still printing up of your calendar and passing that out to people. There is still putting it in thank you cards. So I like a printed version of my class schedule as well that goes out to all of my customers. Then lastly, I have on here a video or a Facebook Live. So during the course of a month when I'm doing a Facebook Live or doing a video maybe about something totally different, I still take time to plug or show or market my class that's still available for them to RSVP for. And without fail, that always brings in a couple extra people, because when you can see things, it makes them, it makes them more apt to want to sign up for it. So that's something that not everybody does videos, and not everyone does a Facebook Live, but if you do, make sure you check off when you're going to put that into your Facebook Live. So you make sure that every class, so all 6 classes that I have are plugged somewhere within a video or a Facebook Live. And that's on top of your 3 emails and on top of your 3 social media posts. So if you see there, it's about 7 different forms of touching. Now, not one person is going to see all 7, I promise you. So you're not being overbearing. You're not being, in their face. You are simply doing a good job of communicating. That's a mental block that you have to get over if that's really what's holding you back. It's just a mental block that you've got to, knock down and focus on the people that love and want you. And want to hear from you. All right, so that's your power of 3. I'm going to share with you all of these documents so you can print them off. There's even lots of blank spaces over here if you want to take notes, if you want to add something to this, or it's really simple, but you have to use it. You have to mark down the dates. And if you, it is like it's almost something every day. It's how marketing is. And corporations, there's entire marketing divisions. They work every day on marketing for a company. So you are the CEO, the president, the CFO, and you're the director of marketing of your own business. So you should be working on your marketing every single day. Some form. And again, here you have a list of where you should be with what event. So a lot of times, if you're the busier you get, you have to say, okay, this class needs an email, this class needs a social media post, and this one needs a blogging done. So in 1 week, it might be 3 different classes that you're working on the marketing on. Now, one thing that really helps me, and I know this helps a lot of other demonstrators too, is I struggle with balancing all of that, just like all of you. Like things would fall through the cracks. So one thing that I love to do is I do all of my classes the last 2 weeks of the month. So except for my team meeting, but that's different. But all my classes that require prepayment and marketing and reminders and all of that happen the action on them happens the last 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks, I'm able to take time to do all of my marketing and planning and emails and designing. So I do all my designing work then. And so that way, when I put my initial email out, I might not have any designs done, but I at least know what classes I'm doing. And then when I send out my second and my third email, I have some of the projects done because my first 2 weeks are all spent on designing and marketing. So then I have to do the doing, and then I just get to repeat. So things don't fall through the cracks so much when I've got my classes at the end, and then my classes, events, clubs, all of that are the last 2 weeks. There's quite a bit of time there. If you like the 14th through like the 31st, you've got a good chunk of time in there. The first 2 weeks are for marketing and designing, and I have a couple events that I do that don't require maybe prepayment or like a team meeting, things that I will do that are a little bit different, but we still have to follow the same marketing plan. So if you have a class that continually you're forgetting to put emails out, you're not getting registrations, you're not doing your marketing, maybe it just needs to change a time on your calendar to where it's not falling through the cracks all the time. It's not, so much about why a class might not working. It might have nothing to do with the class itself. Might just have to be with the fact that you're not communicating it out to people effectively. So by the way, here's the monthly calendar, and then behind that I have a weekly, so I can start filling in each week the things that I have to do, time frames for it. The one thing that I spend probably the most time on with people is time management. We all have the same balls we're juggling. Some of us have even more balls. Some of us, all of us, have a lot of balls we're trying to juggle. And if you're productive or not productive, it has a lot to just do with your determination to stick to a plan. And you got to have that plan first and foremost. And then I think it helps to have it in black and white. Some of you might be very computer oriented, so you can put it in a computer and just pull it up every day. For me, I like to print it off and write it in. And just carry it with me everywhere I go. And so that way things don't fall through the cracks so much. I know once you adapt this power of 3, it can absolutely change the face of your business. It can change the face of your attendance to your events. It changes the face of you being more profitable because you're going to have more people who are going to come. It just comes down to being consistent, right down even to your marketing. All right, good luck with the power of 3. Remember that. Use these tools. You have to put them into practice. If your time management is out of the wall, if it's a new year is a great time to implement a new schedule. Everyone's week at Christmas and New Year's is really out of whack. Even mine will get completely crazy, and I will lose any sense of a schedule. That's good. It's important for us to do that every once in a while. But as soon as January hits, I'm going to be ready to get right back to work. And I'll have a plan. I'll know when I have to do everything, when every email has to go out, when every class has to be scheduled for. There's no difference between you and me. There's just not. We're the same kind of molded people. But what difference is that we plan ahead and we're consistent, and our body becomes used to it, and our brains become used to it. Our families come to expect it, and they know that you're working when you're working. So a time management schedule, and it's something you can share with your family if you have to, so they see the hours in a day that you have to work in order to make your business successful. I hope you're inspired to do more email, definitely more email, and doing some more marketing pushes, doing some more social media. The more you get yourself out there, the more results you're going to have. I promise. Make sure you're focusing on the people who want to hear from you, and just do your job. Just do your job. Don't let your emotions get into it. Don't think about, oh my gosh, they're not going to want to hear from me. I always tell my clients, if you're not getting unsubscribes every week, I don't believe you're doing your job right. So you shoot for that. I always try to get more people to subscribe than unsubscribe. That's always my goal. But I know that there's people who join that really don't want, they're just joining to join, and then they realize, oh wow, she gets a lot of emails, I'm leaving. That's fine, because they're not my customers. So we want to make sure we're always focusing on our customers and that they are very well informed with what we're doing. All right, you guys have an awesome rest of the time with our creative convention. If you're watching it all in one day, or if you're going to spread it all out throughout the month of December. But good luck putting this into practice as soon as January hits, and I know your celebration is going to be bigger and better than ever.